Andrew Pearson's Mont Blanc pen hovered just millimeters above the signature line on a contract that would have marked the biggest acquisition in his company's 15-year history. The sleek conference room at Pearson Ventures Manhattan HQ was silent, save for the sharp breaths of 8 executives in tailored suits, all staring in disbelief at Elena Vasquez, the cleaning lady in the gray uniform and white apron who had just barged in, ignoring the security guard closing in behind her. "Don't sign that contract," she said, her voice calm but firm, her slight accent cutting through the tension like a knife. "You need to see this first." Marcus Chun, Andrew's VP of Operations, was the first to react, outraged. "This is outrageous. Remove her immediately." But Andrew held up his hand, eyes locked on Elena's unyielding gaze. In 15 years of building his tech empire, Andrew had learned to trust instincts, and every single one screamed at him right now to listen. "Wait," he said, carefully recapping the pen. "Could you give us 5 minutes?" The executives from Horizon Dynamics, the company Pearson Ventures was about to acquire, scowled but grudgingly left the room, trailing whispers and suspicious looks. Once alone, Andrew let out a long breath, eyes never leaving Elena. "You realize you just interrupted a $100 million deal," he said quietly. Elena didn't flinch. She had been cleaning this office for almost 3 years, invisible to most, but Andrew had noticed her. He'd learned her story, a hardworking mother putting her daughter through college while juggling 2 jobs. "Last night, I was emptying the trash in Mr. Rodriguez's office," she said, referring to Andrew's CFO. His computer was on, emails open. "I wasn't trying to snoop, but I saw something in email from someone at Horizon. It had attachments, financial reports that didn't match the ones you saw yesterday. The real numbers." Andrew's brow furrowed. "Real numbers?" "Yeah," Elena said, swallowing hard. "The reports you got showed their medical device division growing 20% year over year. But the ones I found? Huge losses, like 40 million last quarter. They're hiding defects in their cardiac stents failures, patients harmed, lawsuits coming." Andrew felt the blood drain from his face. Horizon's medical tech division was the cornerstone of Pearson Ventures' expansion plans into healthcare. This wasn't just bad news, it was catastrophic. "How can you be sure?" Andrew asked, eyes searching hers. Elena straightened, a flicker of pride in her eyes. "Before I came here, I was an accountant in Mexico City for 12 years. I recognize fraud when I see it." She pulled a flash drive from her pocket. "I took pictures with my phone. I know it was risky, but what they're doing is worse." Andrew took the drive, turning it over slowly. "If this is true, you just saved my company from disaster. If not," he didn't finish, but the implication hung heavy. "I took that risk the moment I walked in," Elena said, voice steady. Plugging the drive into his laptop, Andrew scrolled through emails, internal memos, financial spreadsheets, all pointing to deliberate deception. An email from Javier Montoya, Horizon CEO, instructed staff to prepare board-friendly reports that masked the truth. The worst was an internal risk assessment detailing a rising failure rate of their flagship cardiac stent, including 2 patient deaths. Andrew looked up at Elena, respect dawning in his eyes. "Why'd you do this? You could lose everything." Elena met his gaze without hesitation. "My husband died 3 years ago from a heart attack. Doctors said a stent could have saved him, but we couldn't afford it without insurance. What if my daughter needed one of those defective devices? Or your children? Some things matter more than jobs, Mr. Pearson." Before Andrew could reply, the door opened. Marcus Chin returned, composed but urgent. "Our guests are getting restless. They're asking if there's a problem." Andrew closed his laptop decisively. "Yes, Marcus. Cancel the deal. We're walking away." Marcus froze, disbelief breaking through his usual calm. "Andrew, we've invested millions. The board will understand once they see this." "No," Andrew said firmly. "Horizon's medical device division is built on fraud. Their stents are failing. People have died." He turned to Elena. "Would you be willing to talk to our legal team? They'll need to understand exactly what you found." She nodded solemnly. "Yes, sir." "Good. Marcus, escort the Horizon team out." Tell them unforeseen complications have come up. Then get her legal team here immediately." As Marcus left, Andrew's phone buzzed relentlessly with board members demanding answers, but he ignored them. Instead, he focused on Elena. "You should know Horizon's lawyers will probably try to go after you for corporate espionage or something like that." Fear flickered across Elena's face, but she squared her shoulders. "Understand. Don't worry," Andrew said softly. "We'll protect you. Pearson Ventures has a lot more resources than a cleaning service." Within the hour, Horizon's executives were out, and Andrew's legal team was deep in Elena's evidence. The initial consensus was clear they'd narrowly avoided disaster. Andrew returned to the conference room, where Elena waited, uncertain. She stood as he entered, face carefully neutral. "Our legal team is moving fast," he said. "They're already reaching out to the FDA. Those devices need to be investigated immediately." Elena nodded, relief washing over her. "What happens now?" she asked. Andrew leaned against the table, loosening his tie. "That depends on you. We'll need your testimony and cooperation with our attorneys. It won't be easy. I'll do whatever it takes," she said without hesitation. "In that case," Andrew smiled, "I'd like to offer you a new position. Our compliance department could use someone with your attention to detail and ethics." Elena blinked in surprise. "But I don't have a degree here. My credentials don't transfer." "Credentials can be earned," Andrew interrupted. "Integrity like yours can't be taught. We'll provide any training you need." 6 months later, Elena sat in her own modest office overlooking Madison Avenue, a nameplate reading Associate Compliance Specialist. On her desk, a photo of her daughter Sophia, now in her final year of nursing school, stood alongside financial reports she was reviewing. The transition hadn't been easy. Horizon Dynamics had filed a lawsuit against Elena, accusing her of corporate espionage, but Andrew stood by her, providing top-notch legal support. The case was eventually dismissed when the FDA investigation triggered by Elena's discovery revealed even more damning evidence. Horizon stock plummeted 60%, executives including Montoya faced criminal charges, and lawsuits piled up from patients and shareholders alike. One afternoon, Andrew showed up at Elena's office unannounced, casually dressed, a rare sight. "Got a minute?" he asked. "Of course," she replied, still a bit surprised by her new status no longer invisible, but heard and valued. "I just got word the last of those defective stents has been recalled," Andrew said, sitting down. "The FDA credited our disclosure with potentially saving hundreds of lives." Elena felt a wave of relief wash over her. Her husband's face flashed in her mind, and she allowed herself a moment to imagine he'd be proud. "Thank you for telling me," she said quietly. "There's more," Andrew continued, sliding a folder across the desk. "The board approved a new initiative, a medical technology ethics division, focused on patient safety and corporate responsibility. I want you to help shape it." Elena's eyes widened. "Me? But I'm still learning the basics." "You've taught this company more about ethics in 6 months than all our corporate training combined," Andrew said. "Sometimes the most valuable perspective comes from outside the system." The irony wasn't lost on either of them, a cleaning lady, once invisible, now changing the course of a corporate giant. "There's something else," Andrew added, placing another folder in front of her. "The board approved funding for a scholarship program in medical ethics and safety. The first recipient has already been chosen." Elena opened the folder to find her daughter Sophia's name on the letter. Tears welled up. "We can't accept this," she started. "It's not charity or favoritism," Andrew said firmly. "Your daughter's academic record is exceptional. The committee didn't know who she was related to. This is justice finding its way forward." Before she could reply, her phone buzzed with a news alert. Former Horizon CEO Montoya pleads guilty in stent fraud case. Andrew nodded grimly. Justice indeed. That evening, as Elena left the building, she passed the night cleaning crew, greeting them by name, stopping to chat with Manuel, who now held her former job. The security guard who almost threw her out that day nodded respectfully. Outside, the crisp September air hinted at autumn. Elena paused, looking up at the towering glass, building the place where her life had changed forever. Sometimes the biggest moments come from the smallest choices, deciding that even when you're meant to stay silent and invisible, some truths demand to be heard. 6 floors above, Andrew Pearson watched her from his window, reminded how close they'd come to disaster, saved by the one person everyone else had overlooked. What do you think? Was Elena right to risk everything for the truth? And what does this say about who really holds power in the corporate world? Share your thoughts below. Is this justice or just luck? How should companies protect whistleblowers like Elena? Let's get the conversation started.